Oh yeah, I also brought my pan, my stainless steel pan.
You brought your pan with you?
I brought my pan.
You didn't trust Johnny's pan?
I didn't know what he had.
So we get to this restaurant and we sit down looking at the menu, and the first thing I notice on the menu is kangaroo.
No way.
Yes. And he said, I recommend going rare.
Rare.
Rare. It was delicious.
Probably. It was.
It was delicious.
So what did it taste like?
It was so juicy.
It's not from the beef and the eggs that's causing heart disease. It's from the refined sugar, the refined carbs, and the vegetable oils. We learned something along the lines of this with this new study. This is preventing disease.
Yes.
As opposed to treating the disease once it happens. Yes. Which is conventional medicine. But yeah, it's crazy how, I guess you could say, brainwashed America is. Welcome back to episode 25 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kevin.
And Kevin.
Yeah.
I got a hot take for you.
All right, hit me.
Airbnbs are healthier than hotels if you're traveling.
What? It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, well,
all right, well, I want to break that down because I don't understand it.
Okay.
But before we do that, you were traveling this weekend. You're out of town.
That's one of the reasons I just said that.
Yeah. So where were you?
I was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
What were you doing there?
I was making some music with one of my good friends, Johnny. Yeah, shout out Johnny.
All right.
He's like a producer. He mixes a bunch of music. So he invited me down for the weekend, and yeah, we did that.
Awesome. More than just a face behind the grocery store camera.
Yeah, that's right. I'm also very musical. Yeah,
yes.
I've been playing the guitar since I was 4 and have gotten into singing and songwriting these past few years. So yeah, we were making some original songs.
All right.
Yeah.
Thinking of this, how important is it for you? You're very into nutrition and you do spend a lot of your free time researching trends and stuff like that. How important is it for you to have a hobby, a passion that has nothing to do with your quote unquote job?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important. When I am working throughout the day, all day, every day, and learning about nutrition and going to the grocery store and helping educate others, I think it is so beneficial to be able to unplug at the end of the day and just totally switch tasks. I mean, and when I say switch tasks, it's most likely either music or something sports related.
Yeah.
And music is still, I guess, the creative side of your brain. So I'm kind of still using that side of my brain, but it's just totally different.
Yeah.
And I think I need that for one. Like I need to, when it gets to the end of the day, 5, 6 o'clock rolls around, I need to stop doing what I'm doing and go do something else.
Yep. Gives you an opportunity to just stop thinking about like what you have to do and do something that you get to do.
Exactly.
I think it's extremely important, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you come up with ideas for videos and all of this stuff? And I'm like, my brain is always going, like at all times. I'm constant. Like if I see a commercial on TV, it'll spark an idea for a new video. So it is really nice to turn that off totally, especially when I'm doing music related things. Like I am thinking about nothing else but music. Right. It's almost like a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And then same thing when we're playing sports. Golf. I am not thinking about anything else when I am playing golf. I'm just pissed off that I bogeyed that last hole. And then pickleball, which is my new favorite sport.
Of course.
I mean, I'm dialed in.
Right. Yeah, you have to have some sort of release, no matter what it is, sports, music. I like woodworking. It's just something else.
Same thing with you. I mean, your job daily is
accounting.
Accounting.
Crypto accounting.
Yeah, crypto accounting. So I'm sure you have the same mindset that you need some other hobby.
Right. You have to have something to disconnect.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. So that's first thing, what you were doing. But we also want to break down when you went there. You make a lot of decisions when you travel that you aren't presented with when you're at the comfort of your own home. So what do you do to set yourself up for success when you travel? We talked about it a little before, but tell me about this specific time.
Yeah, so I was very prepared for this trip. So a few things that I brought with me. So I like, and to kind of plan what I need to bring with me, I almost just like go through my day. Okay, so I wake up, what do? I take my supplements. Okay, let me pack my supplements. Pack my supplements. Okay, what do I do after I take my supplements? I make my coffee. Okay, let me bring my organic, single origin, mycotoxin-free coffee beans with me and my French press.
You brought that all with you?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
Because I knew, so I was staying with my friend, Johnny, and I knew he doesn't drink coffee, so I knew he wouldn't have a coffee machine. And I didn't want to have to go out and get coffee that's not organic or any of those three things that I just mentioned, and that is most likely lined with the plastic cup. So, or a plastic liner within the cup. So I was like, yeah, let me bring my own coffee. Okay. Anything there?
That's not a hassle. You view it as that important that little things like that you need to bring with you.
Yeah, it's so easy too. I mean, bag of coffee, French press.
Yeah.
In a bag.
I've never really thought about bringing a coffee maker machine with me.
I never thought of it until I got the French press.
Because it's so easy to transport.
So easy to use, so easy to transport, so easy to clean. Yeah, I love it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so you brought coffee. What's next in your day?
Supplements, coffee, and then I guess next is going to be food. Next thing in my day is going to be lunch. I usually don't eat breakfast, just lunch. And I spoke with Johnny ahead of time, but he went to the store and got us a bunch of ground beef and ribeyes, so we were set there. But I also had some extra ground beef in my fridge that I brought. I brought a bunch of bananas, apples, zucchini, sweet potatoes.
How long were you gone for?
Normal. Thursday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so
4 days.
4 days. So yeah,
3 nights, 4 days. Yeah, I knew I was going to be there for a while.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna be prepared.
Yeah.
Especially because I knew we were going to be in his apartment all day making music. So I knew we probably weren't going to be going out to get dinner or lunch or anything like that. I knew we were going to be making, so I was prepared for that.
And is the friend you were visiting a relatively healthy person? Is he into nutrition?
Yeah, he's definitely, I'd say he's definitely pretty healthy, pretty health conscious, definitely. Yeah, he watches a lot of my videos. We're on a similar diet, I'd say now, beef, eggs, fruit, vegetables.
Yep.
I mean, maybe some rice here and there, but yeah.
So it was pretty easy adapting with him while you were there.
I'd say
no
so.
Issues.
Yeah, definitely.
If you are in a situation where you're visiting a friend and they're not someone that follows the same diet as you, whatever diet that is, doesn't really matter. Have you run into that situation before, and how do you approach that?
I definitely have. Yeah, if we're going to be going out to restaurants, it becomes a little bit tougher. I'd say if you do have that kind of friend, take initiative and maybe pick out the restaurant. A tool that I actually used while we were there and was talking to Johnny, my friend, about it was the app Seed Oil Scout, which we've talked about before. Right. But it will show you restaurants near you that don't cook in seed oils, which is one of the biggest problems when it comes to eating out. So I used that app while we were there. We didn't really eat out at all while I was there, but there were a bunch of restaurants that were around us that were seed oil free. Yep. So that's what I would say. I would say take initiative if you are going to eat out. Then also, I mean, if you are going to cook your own dinner one night, bring your own food and maybe try to educate him a little bit, not in an obnoxious way. Just be like, hey, like, did you know these foods are nutritious and I can make them taste good by the ways that I cook them.
Yeah. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone that would turn down like a nice home cooked meal that you put a lot of effort into. I think that'd be well appreciated by most people.
And something else I do now that I just thought about it is I'll just cook for people. I'll just be like, don't worry about it, I'll cook. Yep. And they love that.
Yep.
And I'll cook something delicious and healthy. And everyone always loves it. I cooked us on Saturday night. We went and played pickleball this past weekend while I was in Charlotte. A few of us went to play pickleball. We stopped at Harris Teeter, a grocery store, on the way back, got steaks, and I cooked everyone steaks. Steak, potatoes, and zucchini.
Who
I
was
cooked
mad?
it. Yeah. No one.
No one was mad.
And it was delicious.
Yeah. You have control there. If like you said, you take initiative, you go out of your way. If you're putting in all this effort, people are going to be appreciative of it.
Exactly.
That's a good point. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But that's a good way to approach it there. So food is obviously a big component of traveling. But you said, too, you're inside all day. You're making music. What else do you do in order to kind of stay healthy when you're in not at home situation?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say getting outside, getting into nature is extremely important, especially when you're working all day. I mean, this is something I try to do during the work week, but when we were in his apartment, all day focused on this music, it's sometimes it's hard to take a break because you're so focused. So it's like, okay, I'd be like, okay, stop. We need to go take a break.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, you're right. And then we went for a walk and we came back and we both felt so much better. He comes back and he's like, wow, I really needed that. Like, you don't realize it until you're out there, you're moving your body and you're just outside. And it was drizzling a little bit, but it was like 60, so it wasn't too bad. But even then, it was still so nice. And then the next, I think that was maybe Friday. And then Saturday, we woke up and we planned what breaks we were going to have throughout the day, time, and what we were going to do.
That one break yesterday, the previous day, was so impactful that it made you
Yeah.
plan it into the rest of the
We
day.
woke up Saturday before we started. We were like, let's take a break at 1 o'clock and go walk across the street and get like smoothies. And then 5 o'clock, we're gonna go play pickleball. And we played pickleball, and then what I just said.
Right.
So yeah,
That is.
and I think that's so important for everyone. Getting outside, taking breaks.
Yeah. Especially people, I think, that are in front of a screen all day, which is a lot of people. It's just, one, straining on your eyes, but two, being outside and just disconnecting for even like 5 minutes gives your brain a time to just like take a step back and relax for a second. And honestly, most of the time you come back refreshed, you come back with a new perspective that hopefully allows you to solve any sort of problems you were facing beforehand.
100%.
Yep. Okay, so incorporating those breaks was obviously a key piece of the weekend. Anything else that you did that you brought with you in order to incorporate or keep your good habits?
Another thing that I brought with me that Johnny, my friend, actually was like shocked when I pulled this out of my suitcase. But I was like, oh yeah, I also brought my pan, my stainless steel pan.
You brought your pan with you?
I brought my pan.
You didn't trust Johnny's pan?
I didn't know what he had.
That's taking initiative.
And I was like, you know what? I already brought my French press with me. I might as well bring my stainless steel pan.
How big of a bag did you bring?
Oh, no, I just had a backpack and then my suitcase. I didn't bring a lot of clothes.
No.
I mean, couple t-shirts and pants, I'm good to go. So it was the food and the French press and the pan that took up most of the room. Yeah, I brought my own pan.
You brought, and how did Johnny receive that?
He was just so confused.
Understandable.
He was like, "What?" I was like, I didn't know what you had. Turns out he did have a stainless steel pan.
Oh, nice.
But I used
Better to
mine.
have it,
I still used mine.
And just for people that don't know, the stainless steel as opposed to other types of pans, why is that?
Yeah, like a non-stick pan. Like a lot of those can contain chemicals, PFAs specifically, and there are certain non-stick ceramic pans that can be better, but there's still just not a lot of research done on. If it's 100% ceramic, that's different, but a lot of pans will just it'll just be coated in ceramic. And this is like the new non-stick coating, like, oh, it's PFA free and PFE free, yeah, all this stuff, which is great, but there's just not enough research done. There's still so many other chemicals that can be in these types of materials. So I prefer stainless steel. It's not coated with anything. It's just stainless steel. It'll literally last you forever, last you your entire life. Stainless steel and cast iron are the best two, and then 100% ceramic. But I use stainless steel for most things.
Well, yeah. So you brought that pan with you.
Brought the stainless steel.
Used it for cooking.
Yes.
What else did you bring with you?
So I guess going through the day kind of a little bit more. We got lunch. In terms of snacks, I just brought, like I said, I brought a bunch of bananas. Fruit has been kind of my go-to snack recently. I brought some beef sticks with me. I brought some midday squares.
Oh,
Need
classics.
that. What else? I brought some 7 Sundays.
Oh yeah.
For a little dessert at night. I'd say that's really it in terms of snacks. And then other things that I brought with me, my blue light blocking glasses. I always bring those when I'm traveling. And we were up late some nights too, so
use them just at night once it gets dark.
Yeah, once it gets dark, I put those on. The blue light from devices and lights, it prevents your body from producing melatonin because your brain basically thinks it's the daytime when it sees these bright lights. So it's like, oh, we're not going to bed anytime soon. Right. It's the daytime, so we're not going to produce melatonin. So what the blue light blocking glasses do is it blocks out all of this blue light. I think it only keeps red and orange light basically. So your body can kind of naturally produce melatonin. You get sleepy, you get tired, and then ultimately you fall asleep faster.
Got it.
So that's why I wear them.
Got it. The screens are artificially disrupting your melatonin levels, which impacts your ability to fall asleep.
Yes.
So this resolves that.
Exactly.
Okay. So that blue light glasses.
Yeah.
Man, this is quite the suitcase.
Yeah, I know. I brought a lot.
Yeah.
It's starting to get easier, like checking off everything.
Yeah, like your go-to packing list.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else you brought with you?
Not really. No, I don't think so. All my music stuff.
Right. That was important.
But no, I think that's really about everything I brought with me.
Yeah. What about like something we've talked about a lot recently is water and filtered water. When you go travel like that, is it just like, you know what, I'm here for a weekend, I'm gonna be okay?
Great question.
Thank you.
And this is something, I was thinking about this. I was like, should I pack the AquaTrue?
That would be a lot. Gonna need to get you a bigger suitcase.
Filter, yeah. So no, I didn't pack any water or anything. I was just using the filtered water out of his fridge. it filters it somewhat. I have a feeling it doesn't filter out everything, but I think every time I filled up my cup of water, I was thinking like,
Were you?
this isn't reverse osmosis. I was like, there might be microplastics in my water. Oh no.
But you still drank.
I still drank.
You
it,
toughened up.
That was what I drank. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm staying with my diet. I'm staying with my coffee. I'm staying with my healthy habits. If I eat a little or drink a little water, drink a little plastic with my water, then I don't know. Hopefully I can detox it.
Yeah. Well, would you do anything to detox that?
You can have some activated charcoal and clay, which I do have, but yeah, I guess that could help detox it out of your body faster.
Yeah. Then the other area too that whenever I travel, at least I think about, is getting back into your normal groove. It seems like if you bring a lot of stuff with you, you don't get too far out of your normal routine. But I think, at least always, when I come back, if it's on a Sunday, that Sunday is normally like a rough-ish day. It's a travel day.
Yeah.
I just got to eat something on the road. And then when I come back, I'm tired. I've been driving. I've been in a plane, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want something quick. Yeah. And I just get what's easy. How do you think about just like getting back in your routine?
So, yeah, you basically just described my Sunday. So I got home, or I got in the car to leave Charlotte, and it was around 12 o'clock when I left. And I get in the car and I'm like, I'm starving. And I had beef sticks. I had a couple bananas, but I was like, I need something that's going to hold me over because I got a 2.5 hour drive ahead of me. So I stopped at Chipotle.
Oh, yeah?
And got some Chipotle. Yeah.
Yep.
Stopped at a Chipotle that was like 30 minutes away from Charlotte and got some Chipotle, ate in the car, and watched some football while I was eating it. Yeah. So that's what I did for that.
So that keeps you good on the drive. And then just getting back home, is it like I'm ready to get back into my normal routine?
Yeah, definitely. For me, it is. Yeah, I had in terms of food, I had some steak in the freezer, so I just defrosted that. I had some. They have these mixed vegetables at Costco. It's carrots, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, and parsnips. I don't know what parsnips are. I think parsnips are similar to carrots, I want to say. Anyways, they have this mix at Costco. It's all cooked. It's cooked in extra virgin olive oil and some salt, pepper, and maybe some thyme. And it's just like ready to go. You just throw it in the air fryer or the oven and heat it up for a few minutes. So that's what I did as my side. So I just cooked up a steak and then had that as my side. So that was super easy.
Yep.
And I'm glad I had that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really feel like cutting up vegetables and seasoning and doing all that.
Yeah. Like you're talking about preparation beforehand of getting ready to go. It's almost like it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a meal idea prepared for when you get home. So it's like easy, maybe even like pre-prepare it before you leave so that it's ready to go.
That's a great point.
Yeah. We were also out of town this weekend, my wife and I, and when we got home Sunday, exhausted, been in the car, and just wanted something, and we ended up ordering sushi, which is like middle of the road.
Yeah, it's somewhat not bad.
Yeah, so it's like you try to be as healthy as you can, but even like after having that, I was like, that just didn't fill me up.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to my beef now.
Yeah, let's go.
So if we had like pre-prepared something Thursday before we left, that would have been a better option.
Yeah.
'Cause neither of us wanted to cook. It was just like, you're tired.
Oh, yeah, you're exhausted when you get back.
Right.
Yeah, literally the same exact thing happened to me. I was like, oh, man, I'm exhausted. I don't feel like making anything right now. What do I have?
Yes.
So that's a great point. You don't even have to fully cook your thing. Just like almost have an idea and have it somewhat prepared already.
Yeah. Or like you had the bag ready to go of the mixed vegetables. If you make sure you have that for when you're home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that thank God that was in there. I opened my fridge and I was like, what am I going to eat? And I was like, oh, perfect.
Yes.
Throw it in the air fryer for 10 minutes and it's done.
Yes.
And then I just cooked up a flank steak, which was not the best.
No. But easy.
Easy. Yeah.
Okay. You talked about it, Kyle. Your hot take.
Oh, yeah. Man, I totally forgot.
Airbnb is healthier than a hotel. Break that down for me.
So reason number one why an Airbnb is healthier than a hotel is because an Airbnb almost always has a kitchen in it. So you're always going to be able to cook your own meals, which I think is the easiest way to stay on track and to stay healthy, cooking your own meals. And I just, like, nutrition aside, I just love the meals that I make. When I eat out, I'm almost like somewhat sad.
Yeah, disappointed.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I could have made my normal
This
meal.
could use some honey.
Yeah. Some raw honey and some extra salt or something. And I'm like a little bit upset. So I love being able to cook my own meals. And you get that opportunity at an Airbnb because, I mean, most Airbnbs have kitchens, right?
Yeah.
Basically every single one.
Yes.
Every single one I've been to.
Right. Yeah. Way more than hotels.
Yes. That's the first reason.
Okay.
The second reason is that most Airbnbs, again, are houses of some sort. I know there's apartments and condos and that sort of thing, but most of them are houses to where you can kind of just open the door and you're outside. So easy access to outside. One, letting fresh air through the house to make the air safer and less toxic, basically, from, you don't know what's in the Airbnb in terms of the cleaning supplies that they're using, the laundry detergent, everything.
Right.
So that's something I always try to do as well. Open a window or open a door to an Airbnb. A lot of hotels, you can't do that.
Right.
You
Just
can't,
the hallway in
you
front
can't,
of you.
or you can't open the window.
That's
like
true.
they're locked.
That's true. Yeah.
And then, the door is the hallway.
Right.
So that's another reason why I like Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Easy access to the outdoors. You can open the door, you can open the window, and you can just go out. Like if there's a backyard, oh man, I'm going to go in that backyard all day and
Do some grounding.
Get fresh air, take breaks constantly. It's just a lot easier to do in an Airbnb house as opposed to even in the apartment that I was just in. I mean, it was a little bit difficult. There was a balcony, thankfully, so I was constant, like, every 30 minutes I'd go outside, just like get some fresh air.
Yep.
Just, I don't know. I just need that.
Yeah. Everyone does.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Just whether or not people are used to getting it, maybe.
Yeah. So I think those are the two main reasons why I think Airbnbs are healthier.
I think that might be the only time I've ever heard that take, and I like it.
Airbnb are healthier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I could be missing?
With an Airbnb?
Yeah. Why it's better than a hotel? Just like more counter space too, like to make your own coffee. You know, you're not tempted to get that all you can eat buffet in the lobby that the hotel might have.
Oh yeah, it's true. You have way more control, I think.
Yeah.
Over your surroundings when you're at an Airbnb compared to a hotel.
Yeah.
I think it's an accurate take. I just don't think it's one that's been explored.
Yeah. We might have to do a reel about that then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. So I mentioned too that we were also traveling, and I sent you a picture, I think Saturday morning, of my dinner from Friday night.
Yeah.
And I had elk meat.
Yeah.
Have you ever had elk meat?
Once.
And what'd you think?
I didn't like it.
No.
But I had it was ground venison.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, is elk different from venison?
Different from venison.
Okay, then no, I've
Yes.
never had elk.
Okay. Because I was doing some research. I've never had elk either. Elk is less gamey than venison.
Oh.
I don't think I've had venison before.
That's why I didn't like the venison.
It's gamey.
It was gamey.
Yep.
I quite literally couldn't eat it.
No.
I took one bite. I was like,
Oh, it was that bad?
yeah. For me, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a different flavor.
Yeah.
For sure. Different than beef. So we get to this restaurant and we sit down and looking at the menu. And the first thing I notice on the menu is kangaroo.
No way.
Yes. Never had kangaroo. Was very curious about it. So I asked the waiter, what's the deal here with kangaroo? Like, what does it taste like?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, it tastes like chicken, like for like every other thing. Not kangaroo. He said it kind of tastes like beef, but it's very, very irony, the taste.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he said most people that get it think it's okay, and they really only get it to say they had kangaroo.
Right.
And that is 100% what I would have done.
Yeah.
Is to have ordered kangaroo just to have said I had kangaroo.
Right.
He said his favorite thing on the menu was the elk. So I was like, all right, let's go with the elk. And he asked me how I like it. I said medium rare. And he said, I recommend going rare for elk.
Rare.
Rare. Because it gets a little tender if you cook it too long, I guess.
It gets less tender.
Less tender?
You want it
do that.
tender.
What word did he use?
It gets chewy.
Maybe
when you cook
chewy.
it for too long.
Maybe chewy.
Because tender is like that's what you want.
Yeah. The way he described it was almost like if you cook it too long, it turns into like a beef stick kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe
dry or something.
Yeah, maybe it dries out quick.
Okay.
So I got it done.
That would make sense.
That would make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got it done rare, and it came out red.
Yeah, the picture you sent me, I was like, did they cook that?
I think it was like,
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
It was delicious.
Probably. It was.
It was delicious.
So what did it taste like?
It was so juicy. It was.
That's probably why he said get it
He
rare
must
then.
have said that. Yeah. It tasted very much like beef, but definitely like juicier. Maybe that partly was because it was rare.
Yeah.
But it was very similar to a really, really good steak is what I would call
Wow.
it. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yes. And so after I had it, I did some quick Googling of like what did I actually eat, like compare it to beef for me.
Like nutritionally speaking?
Nutritionally speaking.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so I did a little bit of research. Very similar to beef. Less fat than beef, though, and richer in omega-3 and CLAs.
Richer.
More
omega-3s.
Yes.
Interesting.
Which I thought, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And doing more research about it, the reasoning for that is most of the time, elk is free range. They're just out there, and people hunt them. That's how most of them end up in a restaurant. And so it's not like they're restricted, so they tend to get big and strong. So that could lead to richer in omega-3 and probably less fatty. And because of the fact that they're out there just roaming in fields, they aren't given any sort of pesticides or herbicides. They don't have any steroids associated with it. It's just an all-natural diet of grass, leaves, bark, and herbs.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they're eating.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's a cow's. Yeah. It's an elk's natural diet.
Yep, exactly.
That's the same reason why grass-fed cows are more nutrient dense than grain-fed.
Yes.
Because grass is a cow's natural diet. Elk, these foods and various grasses are an elk's natural diet.
Yes.
And it's more nutrient dense.
I thought that was
Simple
so
as that.
interesting.
Yeah. So simple, but so
Yeah.
interesting.
Really?
I guess.
Yeah. I thought it was because it was like, oh, it's like grass-fed beef if all cows were just fed grass, kind of.
Yeah.
In a different world.
Yeah.
But that got me thinking.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely a fan of elk. Would get it again. Have you had any sort of like unique exotic foods?
The only thing I've really had, I'd say, is venison.
Yeah.
Any exotic foods? I don't think so.
No.
Can you think of any that I've had?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Did they have any? Did they have any other weird animals or anything else on the menu? Or
they
the kangaroo
had,
was the weirdest.
Kangaroo was by far the weirdest.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that.
Yeah.
They had duck, which is like a one-off.
Yeah.
I like duck. I've had duck before. But the other ones that I've had that are exotic, they weren't on the menu here, had alligator recently. That was very good.
You ate alligator?
I ate alligator.
When?
This was we went to Hilton Head for a family reunion.
Oh, yeah.
A couple months ago.
Yeah.
And we got alligator bites. Delicious.
No way.
They were like deep fried. They probably weren't healthy,
yeah,
but
for sure.
very good.
Wow.
Yeah. And then before that, I had boar, which is
like
a
pig.
big pig.
Yeah.
I think of Pumbaa, but I don't think that's right because I think he's a warthog.
Yeah, he's a warthog.
Yeah.
But that kind of looks
Similar
same
to
creature.
Yeah.
Did it taste like pork?
It tastes like pork.
Okay.
Also very good.
Yeah.
But I was trying to think of other exotic foods that I had. I'm not much of an adventurer though.
Well, it sounds like I gotta broaden my foods because I haven't had alligator or kangaroo or elk.
We'll get elk. That would be a
we'll
good
get
one.
elk. Yeah. Maybe I'll get some.
Really
I'm sure elk is at the store, right?
I tried to find online. It was pretty easy to find. You could get it like shipped to you.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in store.
Interesting.
But I've never looked that hard.
Yeah. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Comment if you have consumed a exotic or weird.
Yeah. Let us know the weirdest food
The weirdest food you've consumed. Yeah. If you've had kangaroo, let us know.
Yeah. I'm very curious on that one.
Yeah. But there was a video that you DM'd me, switching topics. There was a video you DM'd me a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And it was from a podcast clip. And they talked about how it was a functional doctor talking to the podcast host. It is her functional doctor. And she was talking about how the functional doctor recommends saturated fats, which we'll get to which specific ones, over things like olive oil and avocado oil when it comes to cooking.
One of the biggest switches I feel like you had me make was the olive oil, avocado to ghee, tallow, or butter. Explain that for us because I think a lot of people were upset.
I know. And again, you could make a case for either side, but I pull all my clients off cooking oils. There's a reason that they come in amber glass bottles so that they're not exposed to oxygen and to heat and to light. Why would we want to heat delicate oils? Break it down to just that simple question. And people will bring it back to a smoke point. Well, why would you ever even want to get close to a smoke point? When you heat these oils, they're going to produce free radicals, which breaks down the cell membrane structure. I'm a huge fan of these oils. The oleic acid in unheated high-quality olive oil is super important for the body and cell membrane, but in its unheated pure form. Can you get away with cooking with a tiny bit of olive oil at a very low heat? Potentially, but that's not what most people are doing. They are roasting and frying and sauteing at these really high temperatures with oils, which breaks down their lipid structure, which then breaks down your fatty acid membranes. Cooking with fat, stable options like tallow, like butter, like ghee is going to be so much better internally, and it's not going to drive these lipid oxidized problems that the other oils heated will cause.
Yeah, the reason it caught my attention is because the clip starts with replace olive and avocado oil. And we talked about...
Good hook.
Yeah, it got me.
Yeah.
We've talked about on other episodes using that as a replacement for seed oils. But she was going even one step further. And I guess the reasoning that she was mentioning this is because most people that are cooking with avocado and olive oil are heating it in some way, whether they're frying it or using on a stove.
Baking, yeah.
And that does something to the profile of the oil itself. What's happening to the profile?
Okay, so the way I think about this, and I was reading about this analogy the other day, and it made a lot of sense, and it stuck with me. When it comes to fat, there are 3 different types of fat. We have saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, and polyunsaturated fat. And I'm going to make this super easy. So saturated fat is very stable. And I'm going to say a couple of science terms here, but ignore it if you have no idea what I'm saying. So saturated fat, these have no double bonds between the carbon atoms, which is in their fatty acid chain.
Okay.
Monounsaturated fats have 1 double bond in their fatty acid chain. So saturated fat, none.
Saturated fat, none.
Monounsaturated fat, 1
Okay.
double bond. Polyunsaturated fat, more than 1.
Yep. Okay,
Okay.
I'm with you. Poly, many, mono, 1.
Yeah, saturated fat, none. Okay, so think about it this way. Saturated fat, this is very, very stable. So think of a train and think of the different sections of a train, you know, like the different carts, I guess, if you will. A saturated fat train is going to be one that they're fully stuck together. So there's not a lot of like space in between each one. They're really stable, and when they make turns, they all move like the same way.
Okay.
It's like they're very stable. They're very stuck together.
Okay.
That's saturated fat. Monounsaturated fat, think there's a little bit of space in between each of those trains, I guess.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe when there's a turn, they're a little unstable, they're a little shaky in between. Okay?
Okay.
And then polyunsaturated fat, there's a lot of space in between. And when there's a turn, it's really unstable. It's shaking everywhere.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm with ya.
That's basically my
Yeah.
my analogy. So saturated fat, very stable when exposed to heat.
Okay. So if in this analogy, the turns are heat.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess so.
And so the polyunsaturated? Polyunsaturated, when it's heated to high heat, it's swerving all over the place.
It's so unstable.
Okay. And what does that mean if a fat is unstable?
It breaks. It goes rancid. It's basically toxic to us.
Got it. You don't want it in your body.
No, and that's why we avoid the seed oils.
So seed oils are the poly.
Correct.
Unsaturated. Then what's a mono unsaturated
So
fat?
first, just so people know, seed oils: canola, safflower, sunflower, soybean, corn oil, grapeseed, rice bran oil. All fall under this category of polyunsaturated fats.
Okay.
Avoid. We know that. Most people know to avoid that. But what this woman is saying, this article, she's saying to avoid the monounsaturated fats. So these are the ones where there's a little bit of space, but they can still be unstable when they're going through these turns.
Yeah.
So when this oil, avocado and olive oil, these are monounsaturated fats, when they're exposed to heat, they can be a little unstable and they may oxidize a little bit. But what the woman didn't talk about in this video was that especially extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil, they're high in antioxidants. And when you have these antioxidants, they can help protect the fat from oxidation, from being unstable, basically.
So if we go back to your analogy on the train, the mono unsaturated fats almost have like a safety mechanism built into them that if it does break, there's almost like some sort of automatic connector that'll catch them and keep them together.
Or like a safety net, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I like this analogy.
Yeah. So she didn't talk about that in the video. I've come across, multiple experts in this area and doctors that do talk about this. But she's absolutely right in that saturated fats, going back to our analogy with the trains,
Yeah.
you know, those trains are stuck together. Like they're not, when they're turning, they're turning together.
Right.
These are very, very stable, saturated fats. So she mentioned in the video things like ghee, coconut oil, beef tallow. Those would probably be the three best. Even butter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those the top 4 saturated, healthy, saturated fats.
And when you're cooking, most of the time you're using butter or ghee.
I am using ghee most of the
You're
time.
using
Yes.
ghee
Yes.
for meat, steaks,
yes. Chicken.
What about
even fish?
vegetables? Like
See, vegetables, I normally use extra virgin olive oil.
you do? Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
would this information, I know you know it, but would it change?
I
at
don't
all?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, but it did get me thinking that maybe I'll experiment cooking with ghee as well.
Yeah.
With those vegetables.
Yeah. It's so much easier just to apply
Yeah.
an avocado or
Yeah.
olive oil in those
Yeah.
situations. I don't know how butter or ghee would taste with vegetables.
Oh,
like
I
that.
think they'd be delicious.
Delicious?
Yeah, for sure.
Just be a little more work.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking. I guess you would just have to melt the ghee or the butter ahead of time.
Yeah.
Or like just
Maybe it is just one
pop it in
extra
the
step.
microwave or pop it on a pan
Right.
and just heat it up.
Yep.
And then pour it over the vegetables. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Saturated fats are always going to be solid at room temperature. So that's just another
Yeah.
note for you.
Got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Do you use beef tallow?
I don't.
No.
But it's funny you say that because Paleo Valley
Uh-huh.
with the beef stick brand, they just came out with a beef tallow that I just got. They just sent it to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, beef tallow.
In what situation would you use beef tallow compared to ghee?
I mean, it's just like either or.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
replacement.
like if you're making a steak, use some beef tallow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the benefits of beef tallow compared to ghee?
I'd say similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar in terms of like vitamins and minerals.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say probably similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So more of a whatever you prefer there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be for the taste of.
Well, speaking of meat,
Yeah.
meat's a hot topic in the nutrition world. So
You got meat. You got plant-based meat. You got lab-grown meat.
Oh, don't get me started on lab
Oh,
grown
sorry,
meat.
sorry.
So there was a study that was done that we want to talk about here, related to cholesterol, specifically high cholesterol, and plaque, on individuals' arteries, which can lead to heart diseases.
Yeah. Was it specifically LDL cholesterol as
It was
well?
specifically LDL.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good call out. Specifically LDL cholesterol. Before we get into the study, give me some background on cholesterol, the association between a high cholesterol and heart disease.
There were a lot of studies done in around the 1960s, 1970s that kind of falsely blamed dietary cholesterol as the culprit for heart disease. And a lot of people, it's what the food pyramid and the nutritional guidelines were for a very long time. But dietary cholesterol, specifically the cholesterol from meat and eggs, they play a very important role in our body's function, our brain function. Our cell membranes need cholesterol, and we get that confused with the cholesterol associated with heart disease. It's not from the beef and the eggs that's causing heart disease. It's from the refined sugar, the refined carbs, and the vegetable oils. And I think that's kind of we learned something along the lines of this with this new study.
Right. Yeah. So that is important background there. The results of the study, so they looked at a collection of people with low carb diets and individuals with super high LDL cholesterol.
Super high.
Yeah. 600 or more. And for reference, what's your LDL cholesterol?
My LDL cholesterol, which is quote unquote the bad cholesterol, which in my opinion, there's no bad cholesterol. My cholesterol is 182.
182, which would be considered high.
182 milligrams per deciliter. Yes,
Okay.
which would be considered high. So these people are 600
Yeah.
milligrams per deciliter,
Yeah.
which is crazy high.
This is a lot.
I don't know what they're eating to make their cholesterol that high.
No.
But continue.
Yeah. So then they took these people and they looked at how much plaque was in the heart of these people with the high 600 LDL cholesterol and compared it to what they called age-matched control. So people that are effectively look the same age, same BMI, no sort of other diseases like
Right.
hypertension or diabetes.
Right.
And compare the amount of plaque in the heart. So you have these two two groups of people.
Right. And the only difference between these two people is one had very high LDL cholesterol and one had quote unquote normal cholesterol.
Exactly.
LDL cholesterol specifically.
Yep. And what they found, I guess one other note there. The person with the high cholesterol had it for at least 5 years. It wasn't just like a recent spike that they had.
Long-term thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a consistent lifestyle.
Yeah, that's good
that
to know.
they've had. And what they found, the conclusion was that there was no difference in these two groups. And one of these groups had this massive amount of cholesterol, high cholesterol.
Massive amount.
Yeah. No difference in terms of the plaque in their arteries. So what everyone says that high cholesterol leads to heart disease isn't necessarily true.
No.
That is crazy.
I know.
And this just came out last week, this study.
I hope this goes, viral and big, and I hope this reaches people.
Right, yeah.
This is a big deal, this study.
This is. And to take it one step further, they actually found that the people with the high cholesterol had less plaque in their arteries. Not even the same amount. They had less plaque in their arteries than the people with quote unquote normal cholesterol.
Yeah.
So you see this study. What are your kind of thoughts? What are your takeaways after seeing this?
I mean, we've been saying this for a while now that, if you do have if you're eating clean, if you're in good shape, you're getting good sleep, you're going outside, you're doing all these healthy habits that we honestly talked about a lot of them on this episode. If you're doing all these things and you feel good and you're healthy and you have a high LDL cholesterol, you should not be worried about that one bit. Now, if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum and you're consuming mostly processed food, you're never going outside, you're having terrible sleep, all of these things, and then you have high LDL cholesterol, okay, maybe that's something to worry about.
Right.
But obviously, you got to look at all your other labs as well, because there's definitely something going on there. And I'd say step number 1, switch up your diet. But those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be scared of high LDL cholesterol if you are a healthy person, right, like us.
Yeah. It's a factor in a large equation, but what it seemed like it was the factor. In the equation.
Yeah. Even when when I was cooking up those steaks the other night with my friend, with Johnny and one of his friends as well that was there, he was saying he has high blood pressure.
Oh yeah.
And he was worried about, and this is kind of getting into another topic, but he said he had high blood pressure and he was like watching the amount of salt that he was consuming. And then with that, we also talked about meat and how, it's high in cholesterol. And, we've been told to avoid meat and salt and eggs.
Yes.
In my opinion, some of the most nutrient dense foods that we have access to. But yeah, it's crazy how, I guess you could say, brainwashed America is.
Yeah. Why did he think that he should be having less salt?
His doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
His conventional doctor.
Yep. Oh, so then you mentioned too that you got your cholesterol checked.
Oh yeah.
So what was the reasoning behind that, and what were some of the takeaways from getting that checked?
Well, I think we mentioned it on a previous episode, but I just wanted to kind of get all my blood markers checked, a gut microbiome test, and all this other stuff. And I talked about it on my stories, but it turned out I had some dysbiosis in my gut. So a little bit more bad bacteria that maybe shouldn't be there. And then also a little bit of inflammation as well. Nowhere near the amount that I had, when I was going through Crohn's and couldn't eat anything without my stomach killing me.
Yep.
So I've definitely got it under control, but it kind of made me realize I still got some work to do.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about.
What is dysbiosis? Just more bad bacteria?
Just more. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more bad bacteria than good bacteria.
Got it.
Yeah, and I guess it's a little more complicated than that,
Yeah.
but that's high level.
Yeah. And is that something where you get your labs checked? How often?
Now I would like to get them done at least once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah. There's actually something called Function Health.
Okay.
It's this new program, and we'll leave a link to it in the description. It's really awesome. It's you spend $500, and it's through Dr. Mark Hyman is one of the founders.
Yeah.
You spend $500 and you get like over 100 labs done. And then 6 months later, you get like a certain number of those done again. It's not all 100, but it's the important ones that you get done another 6 months later. So you're basically getting these are comprehensive blood tests, and they show so many different, it shows you how your body is operating on so many different levels. So like your thyroid, your heart, your digestion, all of this stuff, inflammatory markers, your kidney, your liver, so many different things. And yeah, it's great.
Is it tell you like a range that you should be in, or like if you're doing something wrong, the set of fixes?
It does give you a range, and it gives you a description of why they're testing that specific blood marker. But the main reason I like it is because it's so affordable. Getting your blood work done can be so ridiculously expensive. So this just makes it affordable and accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Our dad got this done, and he kept on saying too, like the thing that he likes the most about it is that you'll be able to see trends. Like the idea isn't to get this done once and then never have it done again. The idea is to get this done every single year so you can see trends, so you can catch things before they get worse. You can look at trends of specific markers that are related to diabetes, and you can like catch that before it gets bad.
Right.
Or heart disease or cancer or so many different things. This is preventing disease, as opposed to treating the disease once it happens, which is conventional medicine.
Yes, conventional medicine is reactive. This is proactive.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's function health. Getting back to your actual test results.
Yeah.
What did your doctor think when they saw the 180, 190?
182
LDL
cholesterol
level.
She was not worried about it at all. No, she said it's in a perfect spot.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and what's like a quote unquote conventional doctor recommendation?
I think below 150.
Okay.
I think if it's above 150, you're going on a statin.
Really?
Yeah. I think if I walked into a regular doctor, they would recommend that.
That's wild.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy. So 600 is
that's high. That's high. I don't even know how you do that.
No.
But I'm sending what I'm eating to my doctor as well. I keep a food journal and send it to him. And my doctor is Dr. Will Cole, but he has people that work under him. So the woman that was interpreting my blood results said that, that was in a great spot. And I was like, and I wanted to hear it from her, but I was like, I eat a lot of ground beef. I eat a lot of meat every single day, 1.5 to 2 pounds. Like if I'm working out and if I'm playing pickleball, I'm eating 2 pounds of meat for sure. And I was like, is that okay? Like in terms of my cholesterol? And she said, that is 100% fine.
Wow.
So all these DMs I get from people every time, like they're like, you're eating a lot of red meat. That's bad for your cholesterol. I'm like, no, it's not. And my doctor even told me. So
right. Your doctor said it. This study shows it.
Yeah.
More and more evidence.
Yeah. That's all. All right. I think that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed this format, please let us know. Leave a rating, review, or comment and subscribe on YouTube. We will see you next week in episode 26.